Hello and welcome back to the Online Business Case Study Season 1. This is part 5 of Season 1, a case study following along with my business, AssociatePI.com. Now this is actually part 5, part 2, which is a little confusing, but part 5 is all about scaling my business because again, I'm recording this case study in the future after this business has already been developed and has become a successful online business for me that I used to quit my job and take on entrepreneurship full time. So I'm kind of going back and recapping what I did at each step of the way. So this part, scaling the business, which is part 5 of the case study, was just too big for one episode. So I broke it up into 2 parts. And that's what I'm talking about today is part 5, scaling, specifically how I scaled the revenue of this business to generate a minimum of about $5,000 per month in passive income. And it's been at that level for really the past 5 or 6 years. It got to that level. And now I'm doing a couple of things to break past that plateau of $5,000 in passive income. But that being said, $5,000 in income every single month. Some months it jumps up to $12,000, $10,000, $11,000 in that range, depending on the season of people buying their courses and studying for their exams. But that being said, that's an incredible online business that I can guarantee income every single month, which gives me the stability and the financial stability so I could quit my job and work on my other businesses. And with this $5,000 per month income plus my other businesses that I have, stacking those revenue streams together was enough to surpass my income from my day job, which is when I was comfortable to leave my day job and take on entrepreneurship full time. Today, I'm going to talk about how I got to that place with AssociatePI, my best performing business in terms of revenue. So let's dive in and talk about how I scaled AssociatePI to generate this amount of revenue. For those watching the YouTube series, this is going to be podcast, YouTube, blog, SlideShare, the whole deal. I'm going to hide myself here and we'll dive into the slides and I will break down this case study. Again, you can follow along with the whole case study for all of the online business case studies at theentrepreneurridealong.com/OBCS. That's where you can find all the episodes for season 1. And you can review all the other online business case studies that I'm recording for my other online businesses. So let's get into it. In this episode, I'm going to talk through all the strategic moves and different things that I've done to scale the revenue. Currently, total revenue from AssociatePI.com since the launch back in 2015, middle of 2015 was when I first put the website up online. You can see that in the first episode of this case study. I give an overview of the launch, the beginning, the idea, all that stuff was in the first 4 steps of this case study. Today, $290,000 in total revenue, almost entirely passive. When I say passive, nothing's truly passive income, but I created the course. I did a lot of work up front, built 8 different courses. I'll talk about that later. And now they really just sit there and bring in revenue, generate revenue. I don't have to do too much because I set up an automated email marketing funnel. So my traffic comes in through SEO. I talked about in that of part 1 of part 5, the episode right before this, where organic traffic comes in. They go through my email list. They buy my courses and it generates on average $5,000 per month in revenue, which is really about $5,000 per month in income because there's not a lot of expenses from this business other than I use the Thinkific platform to host my online courses. I pay for hosting from SiteGround, which is really inexpensive. I want to say I'm paying at most $100 for the year. It's really inexpensive. And ConvertKit to manage my email marketing. So that's where I'm at right now, current day in terms of revenue. So let's look at the moves that I made to get to this point. The first big thing that I did is publish more courses. So if you remember in the earlier episodes where I talked about the launch, I talked about how I started with the course, the API 28. Well, I now, if you're watching the YouTube video, I have a screenshot here of a table of all the courses that I published, my gross revenue, and the sales and revenue from each course and the release date from each course. So the way that I did this is when I was studying for these exams, I published the courses, the API 28, the CPCU 555, and the CBCU 556, all in 2015, published in around February 2015, April 2015, and then finally the CPCU 500 in June 2015. There's now, let's see, 1, 2, 3. There's now 10 courses that I've published on here. I have this on the screen for those watching the YouTube video. I now have 10 courses published to the website, and that's 10 full courses, meaning like you get all the study material that you need to pass your exam, and 10 practice exam courses. So really 20 courses total for 10 different exams. Whether if you just need practice exam questions, great, I sell that course. You can just buy this mini course that's only practice exam questions. Or I sell the full course, that's all you need to study. You buy that one course, study, and you can pass your exams. It's called the course content, study guides, and the practice exam questions. And this I can kind of attribute to the biggest reason that this website is so successful is that I have a lot of courses covering a lot of different exams. Because if I get one sale and say somebody comes in and buys the CPCU 500 course, the first exam in the series of 8 exams for the CPCU certification, if they like my course, they're going to buy the next one. So the lifetime value of one customer ends up being $425 for the main full course times 8. So if my math is correct, that's $3,400 from one customer if I get them on the first exam. And that's also assuming that they stick around and actually finish the certification, because there's a lot of people that don't finish. It's 8 exams. A lot of people get tired 2 or 3 exams through, busy working their day jobs. They say, oh, I'll get back to studying later, and then they never come back and finish their certification. Happens all the time. But I have a lot of people that they buy the first exam, stick with me all the way through, $3,400 lifetime from one customer. Now, I talked about this in the launch video, but I actually did things wrong when I launched this business. And when I started selling my first courses, I chose the wrong courses to start with. Looking at this table here, you can see the first course that I tried to sell was the API 28 course. And if you recall from the first video, the part in this case study where I talked about launching the API 28, there's not that many people studying for this exam. This was just like a mini exam, mini certification that you can take as like a subset of the overarching CPCU designation. I've only sold 10 courses in the life of this business for the API 28 exam. And I put in about a month or 2 of work creating that course. I made a mistake starting with this course. I know that now. I didn't look at how many people are studying for this. I just assumed, oh, API 28, like I'm going to put it out there. People are going to buy my course. Well, there's only about, I think it's 90 total people per month searching the term API 28 on Google every single month. And that gives me a baseline estimate of how many people are studying for this exam. I think it's actually lower than that. It might be like 50 people per month searching. So it's really, really low. There's a really small market for this one exam. So I don't sell a lot of these courses. I've only sold 10 courses for about $4,000 total in revenue since 2015 selling this course. So I didn't sell any of those at the beginning. They started trickling in years later after I launched this, and people found me for other reasons and then bought this course just because I had it. The courses that I started selling originally are the CBCU 555 and CBCU 556. Now, these are like the 5th and 6th exams in the series of 8. And the reason I started with those is just because they're what I took first. They're the finance exams and insurance exams. And I knew that content, I knew it well, so I chose to take those first rather than going in order for the all 8 exams. So that's why I wrote those ones next. Those were both launched in April of 2015 because I cranked them out at the same time. I was in writing mode and I published them both at the same time. And that's how I got my first sale. Somebody bought those 2 courses, the 555 and 556. I forget the date. I talked about it in an earlier episode. I want to say it was around June 2015 in that summer. I had a sale come in. All of a sudden it was like $400 something. Somebody bought both courses. I think they were on sale for $185 each. And somebody bought 2 courses from me right away. So that's how I got my first sales. So it was these ones, the 555 and 556. Well, I've only sold maybe 50 to 100 total courses combined of the 555 and 556 over the course since 2015. So nearly, what's it been, 5-7 years later since launching these courses. I only sell maybe 1 or 2 per month, only a couple really per year over the 555 and 556. And that's both the full course and the practice exam course. So a total of about, I'd say around $40,000 in revenue is what I estimated have come from a lifetime from those 2 courses. And that's out of about $300,000 in revenue from this business. So you can see still, these are a small subset of my revenue. And here's what I learned later is that these are the 5th exam, the 5th exam, the 6th exam in a series of 8. a lot of people don't make it that far. They don't make it 5 or 6 exams in. They take the first 2 or 3. Like I said, they get tired, they get bored, they drop off, they stop studying. They never make it to the 5th or 6th exam. And if you make it to the 5th or 6th exam, it's likely that you already have a process and a study material that you like. Because most people go in order. I was different. Most people go in order, so by the time they get to exam number 5, they're already using somebody's study material. They're already used to their studying process. They already know what they're doing. They're probably not going to switch it up and come to my courses and try a different platform to pass their 5th exam when they've already passed 4 previous exams and they know what they're doing. So that's why I made another mistake and started with the 555 and 556 in terms of selling. It worked for me because it was just what I had passed and what I knew, so I could create courses of it. But if I did it differently, I would have started with the CPCU 500 as my first launch, my first course, because that's the big one. I launched that one in June of 2015, or around that time period, and that has been my best seller to date throughout the life of this business. And that's because it's the first exam. Most people start with that. They don't do what I did and start with the 5th or 6th exam, because you don't have to take them in order. They just logically start with the first one, the CPCU 500. So that course, as soon as I launched it, that's when my business started taking off. And if you look at the revenue chart that I have posted here, my gross volume and revenue, since 2015, you see this spike up that starts probably around the 2016 time period when I started getting more traffic. And it really starts to climb, and it gets up to about $5,000 per month in revenue. I'd say by end of 2016, 2017, I started hitting that number with regular consistency. I was dancing around 3, 4, spike up to 5,000 in revenue once in a while. That's primarily because of the CPCU 500, which I think I've sold over 200 courses. I am nearing $70,000 in revenue from selling that one course. And that is a big reason that this business scaled, is because I launched that course, because I figured things out. And I realized, okay, I need to start with the first exam. When you look at Google search volume, which is a good way to estimate market size, most people are searching for the CPCU 500. After that, a lot of people are searching for the CPCU 520, CPCU 530, and CPCU 540. Those are what they call the 4 core exams in the certification. Those are the most popular. The certification lists those out and says, no matter whether you're in personal insurance or commercial insurance, you have to take these 4 exams. So it's basically every employee in the insurance industry studying for this certification, no matter what their specialty is, they're taking those 4 core exams, the 500, 520, 530, 540. Not coincidental that those are my 4 best sellers. I sold close to 200 courses for the CPCU 500. I'd say estimated around 130 for the 520, probably around 120 to 130 for the CPCU 530. The other big seller is the CPCU 540, the 4th exam, and that's simply because that is the hardest exam. That one is very, very math intensive, and being a finance major myself and enjoying math growing up, I did a really good job taking the complex math concepts, and you have to use a financial calculator, and you have to calculate all these financial ratios. It's the finance exam, so you have to learn about like the balance sheets and income statement and liquidity ratios. And it's really hard. That is by far the most failed exam. I think the pass rate is like 65%, which is really low for these exams. I have become known for this course because I did a great job of breaking it down in simple, plain concepts, explaining it in plain English, and really helping people understand the complex concepts. And that's actually one of the most popular searches on Google as well. I think that one probably has 500, 600 people searching for it per month, because this exam is also used for some continuing education credits, and it's used in other certifications. You have to take this as like a supplementary elective exam. So this one's really popular. So that's why the CPCU 500 and CPCU 540 are my 2 best sellers. Now the 540 has also sold probably around 190 courses, probably close to 60,000 in revenue. So you can see that just 2 courses, the 500 and 540, have accounted for, I'd say at least, I've got some estimates on here. This isn't exactly the true numbers because I switched platforms a couple of times, so I couldn't pull the exact number. So I did a little bit of estimation here based on how many sales, how much revenue, and I kind of backed it out from my Stripe sales and courses, because I switched from one theme over to Thinkific, and a long story, I switched from WooCommerce to Thinkific, so I couldn't get the exact sales numbers. But that being said, I know, and with this estimations that I've published here on the slides, which I'll put in the show notes, at least 140,000, I would say probably more, closer to half, maybe more than half, of my revenue has come from selling the CPCU 500 and the CPCU 540 courses. I published the CPCU 540 in February of 2017 when I launched the business in around February, or it was around the summer of 2015 that I think I actually launched the business. So you can see a couple years later, 2 years later, I launched the CPCU 540, and then my revenue really spiked up. And because of those sales, or because of this new course, that's when it really leveled off at 5,000. I used to be dancing around 3,000-4,000, primarily carried by the 500 course. I launched the 540 course, and that brings in an extra 3 or 4 sales per month, which you can imagine for a $400 course means an extra $800 to $1,600 in revenue per month, which then puts me up at that $5,000 per month income mark. And that's kind of where I've stayed with these big courses. I took a break from like 2017 to 2019. You'll hear about that in a later episode with a little legal trouble that I got into. So I actually had to go back and rewrite all of my courses and spend some time reworking them and improving the courses. So I didn't release a new course from 2017 until 2019. 2019, I released the 557 course, then the 551 course in 2021. Now in 2022, I'm branching out and releasing other courses for a new certification. And I'm kind of back to this business. I'm diving back in because I know there's money left on the table here. And this being my main revenue driver is publishing new courses. So I'm getting back and publishing new courses for other insurance certifications that are tangential to the CPCU designation. So I released the ARM 400 course just this year, March of 2020. I've already sold almost, that's been about 3 months since launching that. It's brought in close to $6,000 in revenue, close to 20 sales. So that course is really taking off. So I'm doing the right thing and I'm getting back to what makes money, publishing new courses. It's not necessarily the tinkering with SEO and conversions and paid advertising. It's getting new courses out there to bring in new business, because once I get a customer in, they pass one exam, they want to buy the next course from me. So I need to give them that next course, because once I get one customer, I know that lifetime value is there, so I can keep making money from that same customer if they stick around. Lately, they haven't been sticking around because they run out of courses and they say, hey, I want the ARM. People keep asking for the ARM certification. For years, actually, since I launched this business, people have been asking for it. I was just lazy and I didn't feel like writing new insurance courses. I had other projects that I was working on, so I haven't gotten around to it until this year. So I'm finally launching new courses, and that's going to be a big revenue driver for me going forward. So overall, publishing courses is one of the big revenue drivers for this business. You can see I launched the bulk of them if you're looking at the chart here. The bulk of them were released in 2015, then another one in 2016, another one 2017, then again 2019, 21, 22. I started releasing more courses. So that's the plan. That's where the revenue is coming from, is from releasing these new courses. And you can see the revenue trajectory just going up and up. And I got some spikes in here, which corresponds with when I'm doing a launch for a new course. But you can see it's increased up and up over the years as I release new content and new courses. So that's the big revenue driver. Another thing that I've done that's really impacted sales is improving courses, taking the courses that I already have and making them better. And I would say that this really started in 2018. I'm not going to lie, before 2018, my courses weren't that good. I mean, they were good. People were using them, passing their exams. I offer a money-back guarantee. If you don't pass your exam using my course, I give you your money back. I've offered that. I offered that since the beginning. It's one of my sellers and value propositions. But truthfully, if you looked at my course, it was basically just my bullet points, my notes from taking the exam. And this is how the business started. So I'm not necessarily upset about it. And people weren't necessarily upset about it. I just studied, took notes, made the courses, really thin, really straight to the point. Here's the important topic. Here's a definition, 3 bullet points you have to know about it. Okay, move on. Here's the next subject, a couple of bullet points, move on. Well, I got a bit of feedback over the years. I've been collecting feedback from students. Everybody was always happy. I got great reviews, great testimonials. But a couple things kept popping up that people want full practice exam answer explanations. They want better practice exam questions that are more scenario based, like the difficult questions that are on the exam. better formatted courses, because mine were just really just, hey, here's a bold heading, here's some bullet points. They wanted fuller course content. I did a really good job at explaining things in plain English, straight to the point, and no fluff. But a lot of feedback that I got was like, hey, there's bullet points, great, but I don't really understand it. Give me some examples. Give me a more full, comprehensive example and course. And this was my idea, but I went in because it's something that I wanted when I was studying but wasn't there. I added an introduction and an outro section to each chapter. That was just a quick overview. Here's what to expect from this chapter. Here's the important topics. Here's what's probably going to be on the exam. And here's a ranking of which chapter is most difficult and which chapter is most important on the exam. So you get a sense before you study, oh, this is a really important chapter. A lot of this content is going to be on the exam, but it's not that difficult. So, okay, I'm going to get this. Or maybe, oh, this is a really difficult chapter and is a really important chapter. So I'm going to spend extra time here. I gave that ranking at the beginning so people could understand what to expect before they dove in. So all of this combined, and I gave an outro that just gave some like little sample. Hey, did you make sure you hit this? Oh, tell me what's the definition of this? Like little quick hits that said, if you know these three, if you can answer these 4 bullet points, you've mastered this chapter, you can move on. If not, refer back to such and such section. And I would also pull out, I basically gave a little glossary with the important definitions and plugged those in the outro and said, just make sure you know these 5 definitions. If you memorize these 5, great, you can move on. So I did all of that, and that was a lot of work. And it also corresponded with a time period where I was going through a little legal trouble with a cease and desist, and I'll talk about this in a future episode. But essentially, I had time where I was working back and forth with my lawyer and the other side, just making sure because I hadn't properly trademarked the term CPCU, and I just had to add a disclaimer all over the place. But basically, business was put on hold. I couldn't do any new self-launch, any new courses. So I took that time to go back in and update all my courses. I actually rewrote every single course. At this time, it was probably 8 courses that I had launched on this website. I rewrote them all. I went back into every single one and touched it up, made it uniquely mine, made it uniquely fuller content, better practice exam questions. Well, I shouldn't say uniquely mine. It was always uniquely mine. I always wrote my own content. There was no copyright infringement here. I knew the outline of the courses, and I wrote my own content about the content that would be on the exam, and I knew what people needed to know to pass the exams. But what I'm saying is I added fuller content, better practice exam questions. I made sure there was a detailed answer explanation for every question. I did that for every single course, and I just improved the quality of my courses, and I saw that it helped people study. I got great feedback on it. People were still passing their exams, and there was a less failure. So it just felt good for me to go in and really perfect the courses, because when I launched, they weren't perfect, and they weren't supposed to be when I launched. They were just out there to help people. It was my notes. Now that I was really making a name for myself and becoming a brand, this was in 2018. So 3 years after the launch, I went in and professionalized it, polished it up, made it a lot more professional looking. It looked like a real course that people would be willing to pay substantial money for. So it just made it feel more like a corporate professional course. Now that was in 2018. In 2021, I made another big move. I used to host all of my courses within WordPress. I have a WordPress website. I love WordPress. I was hosting my courses on the WP LMS WordPress theme, which is an LMS theme to sell online courses on your website. And it's okay. It was a cheap theme. I bought it in 2015 because it was $60 for the theme, and I could sell courses through my website. That was the only reason I bought it. The problem is WordPress can be a little clunky. If you're updating plugins, if you do custom coding like I was, things can break pretty easily. You change one plugin, add a plugin updates or something like that, your entire website can break. So I went through a period, actually I kind of always gone through this from 2015 to 2021. Once or twice per year, my entire website would just crap to bed, and it would just break. My courses would break, little WordPress errors where people would be trying to access some content, and it would give like a WordPress error with some HTML code, and people would email me all angry because their exam is the next day and they can't access their study material. And I had a couple instances where I had to refund people because they went to take their exam and they couldn't study their last chapter, or they couldn't access their practice exam the day before their official exam, so they weren't ready for their exam. And it's because it was hosted on WordPress and a theme and everything. The courses were hosted on WordPress. So if anything broke within WordPress, my courses went down. And it got slow because I was having substantial traffic and I had a lot of people in the courses. So imagine people reading my blogs and courses, and those people are there. Also at the same time on the website are hundreds of people going through their courses, navigating, processing, submitting and clicking quizzes, which works in the background of WordPress and shows a score, and flipping through units and modules and study guides and things like that. So it just got really clunky and slow because there was so much going on the website at the same time, and it was breaking and it just didn't look clean. There was no clean feel. Every time the WP LMS theme updated, something would change, a look and feel, and I'd have to go in and custom code. So anyways, a whole mess that had annoyed me for years until finally 2021, I took the time. My assistant that had always helped me with programming the courses, we worked together and moved the entire platform from WordPress over to Thinkific, and Thinkific.com, a really, really clean platform for hosting courses, especially professional courses like this that you'd be selling to professionals like me in the insurance industry that expect that professional look and feel. When they're handing over $400, they want that professional flow, look, feel. It's hosted elsewhere on the Thinkific servers, Thinkific platform, third-party platform, so that I don't have to worry if something crashes on my website. My courses are still up and running and you can access them there. So that happened in 2021. It made the courses look a lot better. It feels a lot better, but it caused some disruption. And in fact, I posted a revenue chart here and some screenshots of Thinkific and how it looks and feels. Because if you go to AssociatePI and click to the courses, it'll take you over to Thinkific. And you don't really notice, but you're actually switching platforms. You go from AssociatePI.com to AssociatePI.Thinkific.com, which is where the courses are. But it caused a little disruption because you can imagine there's a lot of work that goes into this. It took us months, probably 6 months of work, and a lot of testing and double checking and verification to do all these redirects to make sure that our redirects, like because I had a lot of links out there on the internet that go from, you want to access your CPCU530 course, instead of AssociatePI.com/CPCU530, you now have to go to AssociatePI.Thinkific.com/CPCU530. So we had to go in and add a bunch of redirects like that. So if somebody clicked on a link out there on the internet, it would take them to the right course, or a link from one of my YouTube videos, it would take them to the right page. Caused some disruption. And I actually had a couple of months in April of 2021 where revenue dropped to maybe around, when I expected $5,000 or $6,000 in revenue every single month, it dropped down to sometimes like $2,500, $3,000, which is the lowest I had seen since like 2017. And the reason was the kind of clunky getting used to adapting to a different platform, that people were struggling getting from my website over to Thinkific, or they were clicking on things and hitting a broken link, or they were trying to log into their platform on my website and they couldn't find it. They had to go over to Thinkific. I sent out a ton of email communication about this. I did a big, slow migration. People knew it was coming and knew it was happening. I migrated accounts. I moved everything over. Everything was perfect. But still, just that natural disruption of a major change like this, it impacted revenue. And it was maybe a drop in 4 sales per month, but that's 4 sales times $400 is about $1,600 in revenue. And so that just little disruption caused a substantial hit to revenue. And it took a couple of months until I figured out what was going wrong. And I realized what the disruption was, and I went and fixed it, and I touched everything up and added new course images, made sure it was all seamless. I made sure the platform on Thinkific just looked perfect, and it looked exactly like my website so that people couldn't even notice that they were going right from my domain website over to Thinkific. So that was caused a bit of disruption, but those are the major changes that I made to the course, and a strategic move that I made over the years just to improve my product, to make sure that people keep coming back, because it helps with retention and keeps people coming back to buy the course. So that was course improvement. So that's a big aspect that I took over the years to improve my courses, just perfect them. And now I have a perfect system on a new platform. Another major strategic initiative that I took is implementing free trials. And you can imagine, if you are about to pay $400 for study material from some random stranger on the internet that you've been listening to his podcast and reading his blogs, you probably want to see what his study material looks like before you buy it. So I started implementing free trials in 2016. Again, I launched in 2015, so it was kind of right around that time period where I realized, yeah, people need to see this online course to make sure they like the platform, make sure the content is good before they buy the full course. So I started offering a free trial of Chapter 1 for every single one of my courses. You can, for any of my courses, sign up and get access to the full Chapter 1 of the actual course. All the practice questions for Chapter 1, all the content for Chapter 1, which people love because they can actually start studying for their exam and read all of Chapter 1. It's usually only 10 chapters per exam, 8 to 10 chapters. So they're getting substantial study material for free. And I also created back in 2016 a unique email follow-up series for anybody that signs up for the free trial. If you download Chapter 1 of any of my courses, you get into my online course for free. You can see all the other content there, but you can't access it. You can just see that, like, to move on to Chapter 2, it'll prompt you and say, oh, if you want to see this, you got to sign up. You're on the free trial right now. And I synced it up so that it would send anybody that was tagged as a free trial user over to my ConvertKit account, tagged them as a free trial user. And I would then send them a unique email automation follow-up that convinced them to sign up for the full course because they were only using Chapter 1 for free. And I went through a bit of onboarding where it says basically, oh, great, thanks for signing up. Here's how you access your course. I would do a couple of days of, hey, make sure you see this in the course. Make sure you see this. Make sure you take the practice exams. Oh, make sure you download the study guide. A couple of days of that. And then I really start converting people into, oh, if you want to access the rest of the course, it's $400. But anybody in the free trial, I give you a 20% discount if you sign up in the first week. So here, sign up now and get access to the full course. You're only in the free trial now. You want the rest of the chapters. Here you go, discount, enroll in the full course. And what I found over the years is that most of my buyers use the free trial first. And it makes logical sense that, yeah, you want to see the study material before you hand over $400. But what was amazing is that I'm converting about 50% of my trials into buying customers, which is a really high conversion rate. So that's what I'm focusing on now going into 2022. Now, when you join my email list at AssociatePI, and this just changed in 2022, I now have probably 2 weeks of emails loaded up that is simply trying to convince you to sign up for the free trial. Because I know once you try my course, you're going to want to buy my course. So I spent about 2 weeks convincing people through value-driven emails, teaching them about their exam and what to expect, with the call to action always being, hey, start studying for free, get the full access to Chapter 1, sign up here and enroll. If they enroll, it takes them out of this series because I don't want to keep telling people, hey, sign up for the free trial when they've already signed up. So they get removed from that sequence and moved over to another 30-day conversion sequence. So once I convince them through those first couple of days to sign up for the free trial, once you do sign up for the free trial, you land on a 1-month email sequence of 1 email per day. And it's really, really value focused because you're already using my course. Well, you signed up for the free trial. First, I want to make sure you are using the course. So I have a bunch of emails loaded in there, convincing people to log in, use it, use the study guide, use the practice questions, read the content, study Chapter 1, because once you study my first chapter, you see all the options within the course already to upgrade to the full course for $425. So I have a 30-day sequence convincing people to use the course and get value from it. I teach them a lot about the exam. And within there, I'm showing my expertise. I'm saying, reach out to me, ask for help. I get a lot of emails from people going through the trials, then get to meet me, and they get that know, like, and trust factor again, where they get to know me and see my expertise and know that I'm the one that wrote these courses. And along the way, I'm convincing people to sign up for the full course. I'm convincing them that you've used Chapter 1. You need to study the other 9 chapters, so sign up. And I give strategic marketing emails within there. I'm showing testimonials, FAQs. I'm answering all their questions and their doubts about the course. I'm showing them why it's worth this money. I show them my money back guarantee. I show them my 99% pass rate. I show them that I've helped thousands of people pass these exams. So they land on the sequence to convince them with a unique sales page. When they land on the sequence, there's a unique sales page that's talking about upgrading and using the free trial. Instead of sending them to my normal sales page just talking about the course, I created a dedicated sales page that is, hey, here's why you need to upgrade. You're on the free trial. Time to upgrade. Here's the reason why, and all of that information. And it's just really a strategic measure that I'm using and I'm documenting now. I'll publish the updates later in this series to tell you if this is working or if I need to go back to the old way. But my thought process and my hypothesis here is I want everybody on my email list to join the free trial, because then it gets them to create an account on Thinkific, which is one of the hurdles. You have to sign into Thinkific and you have to log in and create this account. Once you have an account, it's a lot easier to check out, and there's a less barrier to entry to enroll in the full course. And I know that previously I was converting 50% of my trials into buying customers. Now that's going to drop now that I know that conversion rate's going to go down because I'm getting more and more trials in. They're not going to convert at 50%. A lot of people are just checking it out because I'm asking them to. Where before, the people that were checking out were the ones that were doing it as one step before they buy. So I know the conversion is not going to be 50%, but I know it's still going to be high. I know that most of the time before you buy a course, you're going to try it out if there's a free preview. So try the preview, and that's my strategy going forward into 2022 is to get more trials to increase conversions and increase sales. And if you're watching the YouTube video here, you can see in the top right, I just put a screenshot of what the course looks like. And this is one of my course pages in Thinkific. And you'll see there's two options. There's a big button that says buy now for $424.99 or free preview. And the free preview is what takes you to the free trial, create your account, log in, tags you in my ConvertKit account, and puts you in this 30-day sequence to convert you into a buying customer from the free trial. That's a major initiative that I'm trying in 2022. I'll keep you updated on that. And it's been a major initiative throughout the course of my business that I realized in 2016, and it's really helped me drive sales with every new course that I launch. And I send out new emails every month because not everybody signs up for the free trial. So I'll send out broadcast emails reminding people, hey, I offer a free trial. You can get free study material from my website, from my courses. Sign up. It's free. It doesn't matter. Just sign up and never use it, but at least sign up so you have access to it if you want it. So free trials was a major initiative. Something I started in 2019, another initiative, is I started an affiliate channel. And by affiliate, I mean I was recommending somebody else's course and getting paid when somebody buys through my link. So there's this third-party platform out there. It's called AB Training Center. And what they do is they sell other people's insurance courses on their website. And they're just good at SEO. Basically, they're a middleman who goes out there and they would publish my courses and my competitors' courses if we allow them to. People can buy the course through their website, and then I would get a cut of the proceeds, and I can send some money. And then I send the login information to the customer that bought through AB Training Center. And this started in 2019. What I actually did is I was looking for a way, asking myself, how can I make money without writing new courses? Remember, I told you, all my money is coming from writing new courses. New courses means new customers means more revenue, and then they stick around and buy more courses from me. But it takes about 3 to 6 months to write and publish a course. 3 to 6 months of really sitting down, especially with this new process that I do to really beef up my courses and make them perfect and professional. In the early days, I could crank out a course in about a month. Now it takes me about 3 to 6 months, especially with all my other projects and businesses going on. I had to sit down for 4 or 5 hours a day, writing content, studying, then write content, then write practice questions, then write a study guide. So it takes a long time, and there's about 10 courses that I want to write and sell, but I have not had time to write. So in 2019, I went out and looking for affiliate programs. I wanted to sell my competitors' courses, somebody else's courses, for exams that I have not had the time to write study material for. And I found this company out there. It's actually the only one offering an affiliate program. They would offer me a 10% commission on every course that I sold through their website. They gave me this unique link, and I could send it out to my clients and say, hey, go buy the ARM course from AB Training Center. Like, I love them. I recommend them. Anytime somebody clicked that link, bought the course from AB Training Center, I would get a 10% commission per sale on a $300 course. It's about $30 per sale. So definitely not as good as selling a $425 course and getting, $425 revenue per sale. Instead, I'm only getting $30 per sale. But again, it was an easy way to generate revenue from something that I have not created yet. And one of the big things is it helped me decide what to sell next, because it would tell me on their platform where my affiliate commission is coming from. I put a bunch of links out there on my website. I sell 6 different courses on my website. They're actually my competitors' courses. But on my sales pages, my blogs, I even have a whole email series. I give away free practice exams for these 6 exams, the ARM exams and the AINS exams. I have these 2 other certifications that I have not yet released all the courses for. So I went out there and just created a couple email series, free practice exams, free blogs, and content like that. And then I said, hey, I don't sell these courses, but I recommend this course from AB Training Center. You can buy it. I'm an affiliate, but I recommend it. And I actually tested out their study material. I used it for myself studying for these exams. So I knew it was quality content, and I was comfortable recommending it to my students. Anytime somebody clicked that link, buy from their website, I got $30 per sale. But what was really cool and the most, in hindsight, one of the most beneficial parts of doing this, it showed me what courses my affiliate income was coming from. And it told me which courses I was selling most through my website and what was getting the most clicks. And so I could use that to decide what course I would write next. And I found that from, and this is what I ended up doing, is the ARM 400 course. The bulk of my affiliate revenue was coming from people clicking and buying the ARM 400 course. They were on my website, but they were looking for some certification and some exam that I don't sell yet. And that's why I went out. I told you earlier that in 2022, I launched the ARM 400 course, and it's already generated close to $6,000 in revenue in the two or 3 months since launching that course. So I used this affiliate program that I started in 2019, and it basically told me, hey, here is a big chunk of money that you're leaving on the table by not publishing this course. Instead of $30 per sale of the ARM 400 course, I now get $300 per sale because I'm selling this course for $300 instead of $425 because it's a different certification, different market. So $300 per course. But anyways, I'm making $300 per course rather than $30 per course for every sale that I make. So I did that in 2019. I started this program selling my competitors' courses through their affiliate links. And it's not a huge revenue driver. It's actually only generated about $2,000 in revenue since 2019. But you know what? It's low money, easy money grab, $2,000 that I wouldn't have had. Not a lot of work to set up, join their affiliate program. And I get a check from them, a couple $100 every couple of months. So, I can't complain about it. I wish it was a better affiliate program. But again, it's not a big time waste for me. It was just another avenue that I did to generate a little revenue. The other cool thing is through the same affiliate partner, I actually sell my courses through their website too. So my competitors can do the same thing, and they can be my affiliate and they can recommend my courses on their website. And people are doing that. And actually what happens is if I sell one of my courses through this partner website, the partner takes a 30% cut. I get a 70% cut because it's my course. So a $420 course, I think I forget what the number is, but I make around $290 for every course that I sell. Not selling a ton through here, but in the past 2 years, I've had about 15 sales, which is around $4,500 in revenue that I wouldn't have gotten if I didn't list my courses on this partner website. And again, free and easy for me to do. All I do is tell them, hey, go put up, like they literally just copy the sales copy from my sales page, copy it word for word, post it on their website. I gave them permission to do it. They say, hey, the course is from AssociatePI.com. We're just selling it as a partner website. So if somebody finds it on their website and buys it, they still log into my course platform. I give the student their login, their course access to my platform. But it was sold through this middleman, this intermediary. And so they take their cut. I get my cut. And you know what? An extra $4,000, close to $5,000 in revenue for free, me doing nothing. Students and clients that I wouldn't have reached otherwise without this middleman, this intermediary. A total of $7,000 in extra revenue from recommending affiliate products and selling through this platform. I'm happy to be involved, and it took me, I don't know, maybe a day or two to get this set up, get the whole process done. So $7,000 for 2 days of work, and it's passive. These sales are still coming in. Happy to do it. It's just another little revenue stream for me. So again, talking about scaling this business, now just again, one of the avenues, affiliate, just another way to generate revenue. Lastly, the last thing that I want to talk about in this, in part 2 of this case study here of scaling this business, is pricing. And this was a big thing that I changed in 2018. Remember in 2018, I told you earlier, I changed all of my courses. I improved them. I improved the quality. I rewrote them, added better practice questions, better studying, study guides, all this stuff. I put a lot of work into them. With that, I realized, okay, I need to increase my pricing. And at this time, I started learning from Cliff Ravenscraft, who was my coach and mentor, and I was in his mastermind group. He was telling me about this concept of doubling your prices and how you need to double your prices, and us as entrepreneurs often underprice ourselves and we should be selling for more. So I tried this, especially with the improvement to my courses that I made. I felt a lot more comfortable. I had the confidence, and with my 99% pass rate, people were using my courses and passing their exams. People were buying them. People liked them. I increased my courses for the full course. So over the course of the lifetime, it started at $185 when I first launched that course. Is you paid $185 to access the full course. I would say around 2016, I think I increased that to $250 per course. In 2018, I almost doubled that, and I'm still at the selling price, selling my courses for $425 for the full course. And that increased from $50 for my practice exam courses. Remember, that's just the course, that's just practice questions. That increased from $50 to $200. My thought process here was, if I can double my prices, my revenue should go up. Remember, I had flatlined. I'm at $4,000 or $5,000 in recurring revenue at this point, every single month, almost on autopilot. If I increase my prices, that should jump to $8,000 to $10,000. Or at least my hypothesis was that, and I'd done this, I'd done some market research and talked to my audience and asked who pays for their study material. There's about 70 to 80% of people said that their employers pay for their study material. So my thought was, increasing the price won't really affect my students. Their employers are paying for it. They don't really care what the price is. They care about the value proposition that I give them, which is to pass your exam in less time with the less studying. So my thought was that my sales won't drop because employers are paying for it, but the profit will double. That was my hypothesis, at least in 2018. Now, that didn't necessarily come to fruition. In fact, it didn't at all. It was pretty much break even. What happened was my sales actually just about cut in half from 2018 until now, in terms of, I used to be selling maybe 40 or 50 courses per month. That dropped down to selling maybe 20 to 25 courses per month. But because I doubled my prices, my revenue didn't drop. So I was still hitting that $5,000 or $6,000 revenue mark every single month. My income didn't double. It just stayed the same. But what was nice is that the work that I had to do for managing students was cut in half. I had fewer students, fewer people buying my courses because my sales were cut in half, which meant that I now had a lot less work to do in terms of managing students, teaching students, customer service, customer upkeep. Because a lot of time people will be studying and they'll be sending me questions while they're studying. Hey, I don't understand this concept in chapter 2. Hey, can you better explain chapter 5? Hey, can we jump on a call and talk about this practice exam question? Can you walk me through it? Well, that work almost disappeared overnight because the students were gone. Half my students were gone. I still getting the same amount of revenue, but a lot less work. So something that I'm playing with now is I'm testing different pricing models. I'm dropping the price down. I'm playing with scarcity because it didn't get the results that I was looking for. When I did this in 2018, it didn't double my income, but I kept the pricing because it was okay. I was focusing on other projects. Again, I have other businesses that I manage, so I kept that price point. It was less work for me, so it was time to work on my other businesses. But now I'm starting to play with other pricing models, and I'm starting to sell some courses for $300 instead of $425. See if that increases revenue, gets sales back up, and see if that can improve the bottom line. Another thing that I'm doing is I play with scarcity. I actually offer a discount, and I've done this really probably around 2017, 2018. I started doing this. If you're watching the YouTube video or you see the slides in the show notes, you'll see my sales page here in the bottom right. And you can see I have a timer here that gives you, for the first 14 days, as soon as you join my email list, you land on the sales page, and it puts uses cookies and cash on your computer to know that you have already been on that sales page. And I give you, because this is the only sales page for this course. So if you come back to the sales page within 14 days, and the timer will be counting down because it knows when you opened this, and you purchase the course within the first 14 days of joining the email list, you will get a $75 discount on your course. So that makes the full course ended up being, instead of $425, it was $350. The practice exam course, I would give you a $50 discount, so it would go from $200 to $150. And I did that because I had researched and I wanted to see, how long does it typically take after somebody joins my email list? How long does it take for them to buy the course? I found that most students are buying within that 2-week time period because they download their free practice exam, they're in studying mode, they want to get going, they're really just rearing to go and ready to get studying. So they buy my course within the first 2 weeks of being on my email list. So I use this scarcity tactic to improve conversion, and it has worked really well. As soon as I implemented this, I started seeing more and more conversions right away. People buying at the discounted rate, taking action within the first 14 days to get this discount rather than waiting. So that is something I do to play with scarcity, to get people to take action right away rather than waiting around and maybe finding a competitor study material that they like more. Instead, as soon as you download my free practice exam, get on my email list, I'm saying, hey, I'll give you a big discount right now, save $75 if you buy within 15 days. And that has really worked to help increase sales. Now, something I'm playing with now, and again, I'm doing a little bit of A/B testing again, is I am listing my courses at $300 and no scarcity. You sign up and hey, here's the price, no special deals. Once in a while, I'll run campaigns or promotions like around Black Friday, but other than that, it's flat rate, $300, that's it. You can access for life, no special discounts. And I'm trying to see what is converting better, just because it's been a couple of years since I implemented this scarcity tactic, a couple of years since I implemented this pricing change. So it's time to test things and see if the hypothesis still holds true, if my initial analysis is still correct, or if the market has changed, which my hypothesis is that the market has changed, especially during the pandemic with people working from home, new competitors coming out and selling online study material, which before I was the only one that did it. I was the only one online with courses. Now some competitors are creeping in. It might be my fault for being out here publishing on the Entrepreneur Ride-Along, talking all about my successful business, selling CPC study material. I'm sure there's some copycats out there, but that's okay. Competition is a good thing, and just means I have to differentiate and make my course better to compete. So I'm starting to play with other pricing models now, and I will keep track of that in this case study here. I'll come back and give an update on what's working and what I'm changing along the way. But for now, that's what I'm doing. I'm playing with these different pricing models. And that overall was the big strategies that I implemented to scale the revenue of this business from that first $500 sale back in June of 2015. So now I can almost guarantee $5,000 in passive income every single month from this business. It's really just new courses are the big driver. Get new courses because once I get one student, they're going to stick around and buy other courses. Free trials, because I know if you sign up for my trial, you're probably going to buy the full course. Affiliate revenue streams, which I used to determine which courses are the best sellers so that I know which course to publish next. And pricing structure, I'm playing with pricing models and scarcity and sales pages and email marketing to better improve my conversion. And that's really what I've done to scale this business up to $5,000 per month in recurring revenue. So that's really what I've done, and that really wraps it up for this part 5 of the online business case study. That is how I scaled the revenue of AssociatePI.com. And now that we're wrapping up this episode, and really everything that I've talked about here really ties into a new book that I'm launching. It's called Use Your Job to Quit Your Job. I just want to plug that real quick because you can pick that up at the entrepreneurridealong.com/job, because that is really what this comes down to. Is I used my job and Associate PI and this whole case study kind of acclimated to the point where I built this business using my day job, and I built it so that I could quit my day job. And it was my stepping stone into entrepreneurship, so I could step into other projects like the Entrepreneur Ride-Along and my other businesses that I've grown. And I've put that all in a book, how you can use your day job. And really what I teach in the book is how you find and validate that first business idea within the world of your day job, because that's where your expertise is, and turn that into your first business, which is your stepping stone into full-time entrepreneurship. so that you can move on to other projects that you are more passionate about. So again, use your job to quit your job. Pick up a copy of that book. It is going live any day now, so I highly recommend you pick up your copy today. So that does it for this episode of the Online Business Case Study. That does it for part 5, going through scaling of AssociatePI. Again, if you want to copy this business model, I put together a mini course over at theentrepreneurridealong.com/OBCS1. Stands for Online Business Case Study, OBCS. OBCS1 is where you can download that mini course. And that does it for today. Again, the full case study is at theentrepreneurridealong.com/OBCS. This does it for part 5. Next up is all about automation and how I automated this business to generate passive income. So check that out in part 6 of the Online Business Case Study. And thank you again for listening. I will catch you on the next episode of season 1, covering AssociatePI.com in the Online Business Case Study.